a play for Deep Blue New York. So did that just become a reality? ALAYNA TREENE with AXIOS joins us now, star reporter with many scoops and the sources in just this type of situation. All right, Democrats have got to be happy he's gone, correct?
Correct. I think everyone basically breathed a sigh of relief today when they saw the news, particularly as, you have the top political brass up to President Biden having called for his resignation. And so I think, there's pros and cons right now for Republicans who are looking to run for governor and take over his seat because, one, Governor Cuomo obviously had incredible brand recognition. He's been there for a long time. His father had been in that seat before him. And so the name, just Cuomo, is really well known in New York. At the same time, it became a liability for not just Democrats in New York, but Democrats across the country. And really, we saw everyone from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and President Biden all having to weigh in on this and all almost taking and having to share some political responsibility over what was happening. And so I think a lot of people were relieved. But as far as Republicans who are running in the race, I think, there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, well, my mother used to say, don't wish someone ill, just wish them gone, which is what you got the feeling Democrats thought about Andrew Cuomo. But this seems sort of to solve a lot of problems for them, right? This was Chuck Schumer's statement that you tweeted out. There's no place for sexual harassment, and today's announcement by Governor Cuomo to resign was the right decision for the good of the people in New York. And boom, the nursing home debacle, the cover-up of thousands of deaths, all goes away for Democrats.
I don't know if that's totally fair. I think that there will still be, investigations into what was happening. But yes, when you do remove the person who was in charge of the pandemic from the situation, it does make it easier, especially as, the report that was conducted by the Attorney General in New York really showed that some of the responsibility went all the way up to Governor Cuomo. And it's going to be interesting. I think that again, the liability of having Governor Cuomo stay in office wasn't just going to end with the allegations from the report. Sure, a lot of these political leaders and Democratic leaders called for his resignation, but the big question now was whether he was going to face impeachment proceedings. And it looked like that's what he was getting out ahead of. And impeachment proceedings would have been very messy for him. And especially, just Democrats overall, if we've looked at the way that they've handled allegations of sexual harassment, the Me Too movement, we saw people like Senator Al Franken, have resigning over something allegations far less than what Governor Cuomo has been alleged to have done. Someone like Katie Hill who exited. And so it looked like he was really in an untenable position here.
Yeah, well, and every Democrat was going to have to answer for it. It was a distraction as Democrats were trying to get through their next spending package on Capitol Hill, which we're going to have you back to talk about when the Senate gets back in session. Perhaps the only person with better name recognition, at least among the millennial class around the country, than Andrew Cuomo for a New York Democrat is AOC. Here was her headline: not ruling out a challenge to Chuck Schumer in 2022. Does Cuomo's resignation change that dynamic at all?
I'm not sure. I think less of what's happening with Governor Cuomo than what's happening and how Chuck Schumer and more of the moderate wing of the party continue to handle politics. I think how he handles this infrastructure fight, particularly, the Senate passed today the $1.2 trillion infrastructure deal, but I think more importantly, it's going to be how they handle the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. I think people like AOC and other progressives within New York as well are going to be looking for, how progressive Chuck Schumer is in handling his position as Senate Majority Leader and also President Biden. And so I think less about him, less about Governor Cuomo and what's happening there, but more so what's happening with the officials from New York who are currently on Capitol Hill and in Washington.
You've done some great reporting on just how far to the left Chuck Schumer has moved to protect that flank. ALAYNA, read it all on Axios. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leland.
Good to see you.